Mathematical nature of finance is something we take for granted in the 21st century, but the person who started it all was largely forgotten. Here is the remarkable and underrated life of Louis Bachelier. Louis was born on March 11, 1870, in Le Havre, France. He excelled at mathematics from a young age and was probably good enough to attend one of France's grande écoles, the equivalent of the Ivy League. Unfortunately, both his parents died while he was still in high school, and he had to run the family wine business. On top of that, he was drafted to the army. When he finally got out, he was in his early 20s and too old to attend a grande école, so enrolled at the less prestigious University of Paris. There, he worked on a dissertation on speculation in financial markets, mentored by the famous mathematician Henri Poincare. Louis was the first person to figure out that the market was random. He reasoned that at any moment, there are just as many people thinking a stock would increase in price as those who thought it would decrease. This is what makes transactions possible. An analogy he used was a drunk wandering a field. At every instant, he may either take a step forward or backward. After hundreds of steps, what is the possibility that he is a certain distance away? The probability of each distance, or price, could be plotted in a distribution, which Louis found was approximately normal. So although you couldn't predict where the stock would move next, you had a pretty good idea of the probability a stock would reach a certain price by a certain time. Unfortunately, for someone so interested in probability and chance, Louis wasn't so lucky. Other mathematicians at the time believed his work was not rigorous enough, and gave his dissertation a lower grade. He took up a temporary lecture position at the University of Paris. When the board finally authorized a permanent position, it was 1914, and Louis was once again drafted in World War I. From 1919 to 1927, he would work as a visiting professor at several universities. In 1926, another more famous mathematician, Paul Levy, read his work on Brownian motion and believed it was wrong. This effectively blacklisted him from Dijon University. Louis eventually found a permanent position at another school, but was understandably furious. Eventually, Levy realized that he had been wrong, not Louis, and the two reconciled in the 1940s. Louis Bachelier's work would go on to influence Ito's lemma, the efficient market hypothesis, and the Black-Scholes-Merton model still used for options pricing to this day. And that just goes to show, just because you're useful doesn't mean you'll be famous or appreciated.